Hello everyone and welcome to this latest episode of Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and welcome to my first Dictember video. I feel I've fallen behind my other co-hosts, Sean D. Stanfast, Steve Donahue and Michael K. Vaughan. They've all released videos on this already. I did finally finish my first story, let's say, for Dictember, one that actually wasn't on my original TBR, but I wanted to read it, and that's The Murders in the Rue Morgue by Edgar Allan Poe. It's my first Poe in a long time. I did The Raven and Telltale Heart back at school, but that's sometime in the early 90s, so that's a really long time ago, and I never went back to Poe, so this was quite an experience reading it. And the reason I wanted to read it because it's known as the first modern detective story. It was published in Graham's Magazine in 1841, and it was good. It was good. I wasn't sure at first because the kind of preamble is it seemed a bit difficult. The preamble. It was going on about chess tactics and types of people that play whist. I suppose he's setting up his brilliant detective. You know how these type of people use their minds and the way they're always thinking a few steps ahead and that kind of thing. And his detective is Auguste Dupin, and he's based in Paris. He's an aristocrat. He's fallen on hard times, and you can certainly see how for Conan Doyle this and Sherlock Holmes this would have acted as a bit of a model for him because of the style of the book. It's written it's written by the kind of assistant or sidekick whose name I don't think we know unless it's meant to be Poe himself. But he's American, whoever he is, and he's living in Paris, and he takes rooms a little bit similar to the start of Sherlock Holmes. He takes rooms with Auguste Dupin, and they're living together, and they become real night owls. And they avoid kind of human contact. They like to be shut away with their books and good conversation, that kind of stuff. And when it gets really dark and the night sets in, they go out and about town, and they sit in cafes discussing things and that kind of stuff. And what happens is while they're doing this one evening, the narrator he's kind of deep in thought, and his friend Dupin kind of guesses what he's thinking about, and then he proceeds to do the whole kind of Sherlock Holmes thing where he reveals how he knows by making different connections and all this kind of stuff. So this is very interesting. I mean, definitely when you can see that how that line, if you like, from Dupin to Sherlock Holmes. But while they're out one night, they hear these screams, and a crowd of people converge on this house in the Rue Morgue. And when they get in there, apologies, no, they read about it in a newspaper. Sorry, they read about it in a newspaper about what happened in the Rue Morgue, and all these people kind of went in, they banged the door down, and then the scene that greeted them there is very horrific, and that actually surprised me a lot, is how brutal and horrific and how brutally described the murder is. I wouldn't have expected that perhaps in a book of this time, but there you go. It is pretty grim. Like there's decapitation, there's clumps of hair pulled out from the roots, there's slashing of throats, there's one of the victims shoved up a chimney, she's been strangled, and all this kind of stuff. And they look at the evidence and things that has been presented by the different witnesses within the newspaper, and Dupin then proceeds to work out basically who the killer may have been. And there's already been a man who's been arrested for the murder, and Dupin knows that this man's innocent, and he basically sets up a scenario where he will be brought into contact with the persons responsible. I don't want to say too much because if you haven't read it, it's well worth your time. It's extremely short. I mean, it really is a short story. I think it's 17, 18 pages long. So I'm not going to spoil it by obviously giving away who the murderer was. I will say that it is very much worth your time, and what a great opportunity to read it. That opportunity that's been provided by this great event that is Dictember. And he is, as I say, the first modern detective, so it would be rather remiss of all of you if you don't decide to go and read it. You can also download it for free as well, so what better motivation do you need? So that's just a few thoughts and a kind of brief summary on what I thought about Edgar Allan Poe's The Murders in the Rue Morgue. Thank you very much, everybody. Do take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.